So the beauty of TRATON is that within our brands, we have that already embedded. Scania, since forever, MAN and Volkswagen since many years. And the trick now and the challenge is to combine that into what we call the TRATON Bygglåda, or the TRATON modular system. Not for all components, but for the main components where it's relevant, we need to come to our three principles of modularization, which is standardized interfaces, standardized over time, so stable interfaces, well-balanced performance steps, to having the right amount of performances on all components, and finally, same needs, identical solutions. Identical solutions. That's how you get the scale. And understanding that it always starts and ends with the customer. It means everyone in our system needs to understand the customer. It's not enough to say, well, I sit at the end of the chain, I'm a design engineer, I get from my boss or from next one in the chain a specification, this is what I should do. No, you need to yourself understand also what are you doing in order to support the customer's business. We are setting this up in building blocks, and I wanted to just touch on one part of this where we have already succeeded. We have already implemented a methodology to transfer customer demands. And we're talking about hundreds or thousands of customers' demands in a structured way into all our brands and into our engineering system. It's not important what we call this, but it is in essence taking all the use cases from all our brands, and by the way, not only our three fully owned brands, but also our partnering brands, so use cases with their customers, and bring that into what we call performance series and performance steps, which is in the next stage is translated into a technical solution by our engineers. That's where we are right now. So we have agreed on the method to collect, structure the demand side. So we know what we need to get out. Now we're into the process, okay, how can we then harmonize the doing? The actual ingenuity of our engineers to develop, because there you can go in 100 different directions. You know the demand, you know what you want, but you can do it in different ways. And there we need to come to similar ways of doing it. The other beauty of modularization is that it can handle brand positioning. Of course, we do not, with many brands, want products coming out and being identical, because the only thing that will result in is cannibalization and price erosion. We need to get different end products. But the beauty in that matrix is that the brands, based on their brand positioning, should choose the components to build vehicles that suits their customers, their specific customer base, which is different between our brands and between our geographies. So that's the other very, very strong reason why modularization is the answer to handle the group's challenges of combining profitable customers with a profitable TRATON. Bring you a couple of examples. In the traditional technologies, we're very close to launching a completely new driveline. It's a new 13-liter engine, it's a new set of gearboxes, it's a new set of rear axle gears, it's a new set of control system, software, but also after treatment. 13-liter, why? Because it's at core of our sales. It's more than 50% of the group and about our alliance partner sales in that segment. So starting with Scania, rolling out in the end of next year and beginning of 2021, first products are coming, and by 2025, this will be the basic solution for the whole group. Fully modularized, based on the demands from the different brands, these components will come in. More important, for the future, Andreas, you mentioned it, in e-mobility. So here is a picture of an e-motor, a propulsion system. And here, we can start from scratch. We can build up one system, one set of components, starting from the lowest demands of less than 100 kilowatt power, up to the highest demand where you talk heavy transport, 250 ton, you need 500 plus kilowatts, into the same logic. And it does not all have to be developed at the same site. You mentioned Hino engines that you will see out here, put into Volkswagen vehicles that you also see out here. That could be one performance step in this range of components. But they should be modularized, having the same interfaces, both electrical interfaces or software interfaces as hardware interfaces. Now, I will not spoil the modularization session where Joachim and the team around him, together with Helmut from DB Schenker, you're joined also by Niklas Bruse from the CTO office. You will really go deeper into this super interesting topic that I burn for, you hear that, and you'll have a chance to really debate that issue. I mentioned the software interfaces are just as important as the hardware interfaces when building up a modular system. So software obviously is growing in importance. And there are a couple of challenges comparing to the traditional mechanical development work with software. One is lead times, which is an advantage because you can change code and roll out code much faster than you can roll out new, for instance, gearboxes or engines. But, of course, this has to come together with the hardware because it's integrated in the hardware. So here comes the challenge. How do we solve that? I don't have a solution to that today. But it's clear that we need to address this lead time issue because functionality for customers in the future lies within software. That is how you differentiate. That is how you bring new functions to your customers. Then you have the OTA, over the air. Since all our vehicles are connected, and since technologically we already have the capacity to update vehicles in circulation without taking them to the workshop, gives us tremendous advantage and possibility. But there are legal frameworks, there is cybersecurity, security directives and challenges that needs to be handled. And there's a new business model. So suddenly you address a rolling fleet. Before, you talk to a customer about an improvement, it was always on the next product. But now you can discuss improvements on the existing products, on the entire fleet. So how do you transfer that into a business system? That is another really cool challenge that is coming with software. Third thing I want to mention is that we strive, and we are well underway in the group, to change our way of product development within software, going to the popularized world of agile development, which basically means much shorter development cycle, parallel development, bringing again the customer into the product development where you verify together with the customer that your improvements are relevant. And that takes us away from the traditional project-based development where you decide in the beginning, these are the requirements, this is what we will develop, into continuous improvements where you launch products basically, I wouldn't say daily, well you could, but at least we talk about months and not about years. And again, combining that then with our traditional world is a really cool challenge. This will be addressed in the session with Henriksson, where you will also have both Daniel from Nobina and Hans from Ahola, and Joachim Gimholt, who is an expert in systems and software at the CTO office in TRATON. Brings me over to the last area of partnership, which is of course the most important. We have touched upon the importance of our internal partnerships, the way we work between our brands in the engineering community. But I would like to, at this point, talk more about the changing ecosystem. So in the past, we were into it, Patrick. It was easy. You made a specification, told us this is what you want, and then you went around, right? And we did the same with our suppliers. We set up a list of requirements and a timing, and then we were asking for offers. That is gradually going to disappear, because when we step into the world of continuous updates about software, it's about going into partnership, because we cannot exactly specify. Patrick said it also. We don't know what the end product is really. So we cannot exactly specify what we want to buy. Hence, you have to come into a model where you somewhere share the risk and the profit. And you step into collaboration world that is quite unknown to us. You can, of course, find a partner where you say, okay, this is so interesting, we try to buy them. Okay? And you will find great examples of that out here later today, where we have, through venture capital and M&A activities, we have taken on smaller companies. But you cannot buy everyone that you would like to work with. That is not, at least we cannot. We don't have enough funds to do that. maybe others can. But so we have to find ways to collaborate, and that is a true challenge to us. We're not used to that way of working. So this is super interesting, how we now build up, rather than a supplier base, we build up a collaboration ecosystem on the back end as much as we are doing already, and I'd say successfully on the customer side. But this is making this challenge so much more interesting, and that's also why people and collaboration is such a super important topic for us. And Roberto, you will deep dive this in your station. You will also get good help. You will have Patrick there. You will also be joined by David Holmgren from MAN and Sofia Wollner from HR in Scania, right? So that's your chance of asking a lot of questions. I mentioned, to finalize, our engineering conference we had here in Stockholm 2 weeks ago, the top 250 engineering stars of our community. The theme was customer-driven innovation within e-mobility. So the focus was on e-drives and electric vehicles, and it was on the customer. And it was a very successful exercise where we took the outside view. Daniel was one of the people challenging us. But I would also like to underline that as a keynote speaker, we had also Professor Levin from the Potsdam Institute of Climate Research, taking to the agenda the enormous challenge we have with CO2 and making that super clear to all of us, creating a lot of motivation on solving that issue much faster than what was previously discussed. Another theme was speed. How do we get faster? Software is one part of it, but it's not only software. It's about constant need from our customers of getting better and better solutions. And that's a true challenge that you also will touch upon within the different stations. So we are at in a shifting world with shifting technologies in a growing group. And for us, this is really the beginning. We have more resources compared to our size than any other group in our industry. We have better engineers. We have, as I described, a platform to start from where we are market leaders in Europe, we're market leaders in Latin America because of our current products and services. We build up with a new series of driveline components, traditional. We add on, starting from a white piece of paper, a modularized product offering in e-mobility and autonomous vehicles. And we believe that with that, and based on our principles of modularization, collaboration, and leadership, we will be able to stay ahead of our competitors and make our customers more profitable for many years to come. Thank you very much from my side, and I would like to hand over back to Julia. Thanks.